I'm going to try to make this video as quickly and as shortly as physically possible. Yesterday, Friday, December 23rd, I got into this woman that you see, Rashida Latrace, got into a conflict with me because of a comment that I said, which I will later scroll down. But this was one of the things that I saw before I made my comment, because this is disturbing. Long story short, this woman feels as if it's not a woman's responsibility to protect herself. So basically what she's saying is if a man sleeps with a woman, it's the man's responsibility to protect himself. Which is true. I'm not disagreeing with that. Where me and her went the odds at, she felt like the woman was completely blameless in everything. And the scenarios that she was coming up to back up her claims is just, I don't know. But again, let me move on with the story. So as I'm sure you've already read her comment there, she was talking about coddling grown-ass black boys. Now, I won't get into all of this because some of this I spoke on in further comments that are further up. But one of the things that I said was, if the woman is not picking proper men to have children with, then if the father is not there and the father doesn't know how to be a father and doesn't know how to be a man, how can you then expect those children that is birthed from that situation, from that relationship, to ever become properly groomed men from boyhood? This seemingly she passed off as nothing. But let's just get down to where I made my comment, because after reading numerous amounts of this crap, I just literally, and this is my fault, because there's a lot of idiots in this group, and this group is called Tell It Like It Is. I was added to this group by this guy named Jason Kelly Lamar. And at first I thought it was a group that, people that came in here and told truth, revealed things that, people may have not known, or just calling things out. But what I soon realized this group has become is just a bunch of bitter-ass people who go around trying to spark debates so that I guess they can get numerous amounts of likes or reactions or comments or whatever it is. And so ultimately, this post, I'm going to try to see if I could do this real quick without losing my spot. So I'm going to highlight this and then go back up. So this was the post. This was, and the funny thing about it was, I just simply voiced my opinion based on what I saw. I don't even take it that this was an actual text from somebody, because it looked like someone messed with it to make it say certain things. But anyways, it's basically a father asking I'm assuming he has a daughter, what does he want for Christmas? And I'm assuming this is supposed to be the mother, and she says all this crap. And then basically where I said I didn't have a problem with what he was saying was when he said this: you put the courts involved, and that's, well, maybe someone did text us, because people be not knowing how to spell when they text. But anyways, basically he said, you put the courts involved in it. That's not cool. So you enjoy your daughter. So she doesn't want anything. Okay, no problem. Sorry to bother you. Have a good day. And in my mind, and in my experiences of dudes that I know that have gone through stuff like this, they've gone through hell and just trying to be in their children's life. And I do big part in my language in this, because stupidity is something that really angers me, and it really sets me off, especially when people are not understanding logic. And again, I'll let you read my comment. I'll keep it here long enough, so if not, you pause the video and go back and whatnot. It's just the fact that we have a generation of black women. I call them the 2016 model versions, who were probably born anywhere from I'd say late mid 90s to early 2000s. And these women were raised up to other women that birthed them to not be held accountable for anything that they do. And I use the cop analogy with the bulletproof vest, because these women act like they don't have to protect themselves. And that's why the STD rates are so rampant in the black community, especially among women. And nobody wants to talk about this. They only want to talk about what the men do. And that shit is infuriating. Everybody is contributing to the screwed upness, but everything always get blamed on the black man. So after I wrote this comment, and big up to the intelligent woman, this lady right here, big up to her, because she actually understood where I was coming from. But then, see, I didn't even address this chick. She came and addressed me, and she said, "Are you salty?" And I replied, deflection instead of addressing. And then she came in, she said, "Thank you. You didn't have to have his baby. Plan B is real." No doubt. Big ups to her. Because most of these women in here, in this group, they straight up dumbasses. That's what they are. They straight up dumbasses. They the only people that believe that if they become a cop, they shouldn't have to wear a bulletproof vest, because the criminals should do and do everything that they say and command them to do. They don't take no type of responsibility or accountability on their behalf to protect themselves in the situation. And this is the part that is the most infuriating to me as a man, because all my life I grew up and I heard how niggas ain't shit, niggas don't do this, yada, yada, yada. Hold on, train's coming through. Alright, so as I was saying, all my life I've been told how niggas ain't shit, how they don't take care of their kids, they don't do nothing like that. But no one ever asked, did you pick a man who said he wanted to be a father? Not some dude who was just saying what he could say so he could get some. I understand some dudes just say it. They say, yeah, I want this baby, whatever. No, they don't. They just want a nut. It is what it is. That's why you have to protect yourself. You only see who a person truly is through their actions. You don't see who they are because they telling you 5 seconds before they bust a nut that they love you and want to be with you. Yeah, they love you and want to be with you because that's what they just want to get that nut. Once they get that nut, they come to their senses and be like, nah, I'm good. I'm good now. And it's scary because there's women like her who just believes. And like I said, I don't even know if this is real. Some of the stuff that she was talking about was so deflective. And if I could get the link in, it's a private group though, so I don't know if I can put the link in the description. But I damn sure am going to try, and hopefully people could go here and see exactly what I'm talking about. Because this doesn't make any damn sense that you have a woman here who's just saying basically it's the man's responsibility, but when the man gets the woman pregnant, the man has no power unless he physically assaults the woman to make her do anything. How many dudes do you know slept with a female and said, "Nah, I don't want to be a father," and the female was like, "All right, cool, I'll get rid of it," I don't want to have an abortion, but I will give it up for adoption so that neither one of us is burdened with this. How many interactions go like that? It's typically, nah, I'm gonna keep it. You gonna pay for this, right? But yet, in this woman's mind, that doesn't happen. It's only the dudes who just don't want to be bothered. It's not anything that the woman does. The woman doesn't contribute any type of dissatisfaction in the situation that would make the man not want to even be bothered with her anymore. It's always the man. And this is the problem in the black community. This will always be the problem in the black community. I was going to do some deep, thorough stuff, but it's really, the more I think about it, the more it's really not even worth my dedication and strength in trying to prove, because most black men know women like this. They probably have women like this in their family who has had multiple babies with multiple different dudes, and blamed all the dudes for getting her pregnant. It's the dude's fault, like it's the dude's sperm fault for getting her pregnant, but she did nothing to protect herself at all, and yet it's the man's fault. I have 2 sons, and I fear for them. I fear greatly for them. I'm saddened for them, because you have women like this. And I don't know if this woman has children. Maybe she do, maybe she don't. But I promise you, if she does, and then she has a daughter, she's not raising her daughter to be crap or to be something. She's raising her daughter to be crap. Because when you say it's not up to me to coddle these grown-ass boys or grown-ass men or whatever she said, to wear protection, what kind of stupidness is that? It's like, okay, we got a home security system, right? Because not that we've been robbed, but we could be, and it would be nice to kind of have some type of defense. Why would I just be like, nah, it's up to the people that's trying to break in to not break in? Like, what logical person would just come to the conclusion that is a logical way of thinking, that if I sleep with somebody, if they don't want kids, then they need to use protection? Well, what if that condom breaks? I didn't ask that question. I should have asked her that. But anyways, what if that condom breaks? Then what? He used protection, but it failed. What's the fallback? You going to take the plan? They got all this type. Remember when Obama passed Obamacare? And let me put the camera on myself now. Remember when Obama passed the Affordable Health Care Act? And some woman from Georgetown or something like that was like, oh, I want my employer to pay for my birth control. And I think it was like some Christian company that was like, nah, and they ridiculed the Christian company because they didn't want to cover the birth control. How is it that these women got all this birth control, more birth control options than a man, but yet feel like they don't need to take nothing because it's all on the man? Find who you can find that is of like mind. If you're a black man, find who you can find of a like mind. Build with them. Leave the rest of these river rat trash alone. Because this is the mentality that is pervasive throughout the black community, especially among females. I remember a female told me one time, because I was like surprised at like how like rough and egregious she was with her baby daddy. This was when like late 90s, and this was even before I was even aware of how bad it was. That's how I know this came from that era. This mentality came from that era because I was a young teenager. Yeah, I was somewhat young teenager in the late 90s, and this chick had a kid at like 15, and was like on her baby father for like everything, and I'm like, why? Like, both y'all had the kid, because it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. That's all I kept hearing from black women as I was growing up. It takes two to tango, but it only takes one to impregnate. And that's what she said to me. She's like, "Oh well, if he didn't want no kid, he shouldn't have nutted in me." I'm like, what? Even then, like, even though I wasn't aware, I'm like, that doesn't even sound right. That shit sound off. Like, why wouldn't you want to protect yourself? Again, I use the cop analogy. Cops wear bulletproof vests, not because they think they're going to get shot, but there's a possibility they could get shot. There's cops that work for 30, 40 years on the force, whatever, however long they work, never been shot at. But they wore bulletproof vests just in case. Why wouldn't you want to protect yourself from unwanted children or just an STD or something? Like, why wouldn't it, like, and this is why I just said the black community is no community. It's a cesspool. It's a cesspool of about 80% of the women who just think that it is straight up cool to not protect themselves. Like, is raw sex just the only thing? Like, it's one thing if we were living in times where none of this stuff applied. Like thousands of years ago where there wasn't really any protection. Like, it was what it was. But there's all these other things out here that could protect you and keep you from having unwanted kids, unwanted STDs, unwanted ain't crap dudes, all these things. And it all starts with intelligence and common sense and logic. And that is void of this modern version of black women. And again, I'm not talking about all, because I didn't say all. I said most, majority. A large portion of the black community, female community, think like this woman. That it's only the man's responsibility for birth control. But you're the one who gives birth. Make that make sense. And when you're dealing with that type of ideological individual, how can you ever build anything of value? I often hear people say, how have black people been in this country for hundreds of years and just in the decrepit position that they're in? Well, we weren't always in the decrepit position, because you can go out through history and see there were times where we flourished. You can look at the Black Wall Streets that existed all throughout America. It wasn't just in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But when feminism kicked in and the government sent CIA agents among black women in these movements to make them feel like black men was oppressing them when they both were oppressed by that government, they chose sides. Majority of them chose sides. Not all, but majority of them chose sides because with the invention of the welfare state, it essentially eliminated the need for a man, other than dildo purposes, aka sperm donors. When that was passed, I believe it was Lyndon B. Johnson who passed it. I could be wrong. I'm doing it off the top. I believe it was him who passed this welfare stuff. And since then, it's this mentality that's been passed down from female to female to female to female until we're now here at this decrepit and disgusting point in history where you have women who think like this and who get to permeate. Let me like I said, this post has so many comments. It would take me forever to find them all. But there's women who was bigging this up, who was liking these comments, who think that this is a normal way of thinking. You shouldn't have to protect. I shouldn't have to protect myself. If he doesn't want a kid, he doesn't want to get me pregnant, then he needs to protect himself. Anyway, I made this video longer than I really wanted to. But this is disturbing. And no one finds this odd. No one.